Now, let's get to the new resources. Because at the beginning of the third year, something very interesting happened. America elected a new president who understood that the federal government needed to partner with the cities because he understood what we understood and what we've been saying all along. Alone, we cannot get to where we need to go. So he said, let's partner. And in conjunction with the Congress, they came up with the Recovery Act, what we refer to as the stimulus program. I got on a plane and went back to Washington, D.C. And I felt that as your CEO, my job was to try to market Oakland in the most positive way. Plus, how many other mayors spent 30 years in Washington, D.C.? So I know the rhythm, the language. I've seen the world at 47,000 feet. So I went back and said, look, I'm not here with my hand out as mayor of Oakland to ask you for one-time money for a one-time event. So you give us a one-time dollar, we fill a one-time hole, and next month the hole is there, the problems are still there. When the stimulus money's gone, the cities are still there. If we haven't solved the problems, we're still confronted with the issues. And even on a magnified basis now that we're asked to sustain greater growth. So I said, we're prepared in Oakland to accept a greater challenge. We will accept the challenge of problem solving. We will not just engage in a grant writing process, we will engage in a problem solving process. We will try to think through what are the problems in Oakland and how do we take this one-time money, aggregate it with other ongoing dollars, public-private partnerships and philanthropy to create a pathway forward so that you, the federal government, you, Mr. President, will be able to say, this is the way we can move forward. Example, we put $250,000 in working with the county, working with other folks, and we came up working with Ella Baker Center with this very brilliant idea, brilliant in its simplicity. All it said was fight poverty and fight pollution simultaneously. Train this generation of young people to be able to confront the challenges of climate change. That was so successful as a model in Oakland, first started in Oakland. When I spoke to the first graduates, I called them the astronauts of the environmental movement because they were the first. That is now national policy. So the idea of Oakland being a model is not an abstract idea. We've already demonstrated. And I said to them, we've demonstrated that. We're Oakland, we're not New York. I said to the administration, we'll take billions of dollars if you give it to us. But we don't need billions of dollars to show the way. We're a little over 400,000 people. We're big enough to be significant, but we're small enough to get our hands around the problem. I said, let us be your model. Let us be your eyes and ears. We will come with a collaborative effort. We'll bring all of our city departments together. We'll bring the community to the table. We'll bring nonprofits and the business community, and we will engage not in a grantmanship program, but a problem-solving effort. The vice president's office people said, sir, wait a minute, hold it. Stop right there, Mr. Mayor. Take yes for an answer. They said, no other mayor's talking like this. We accept that, okay? Now, when I went back the next time, they told me Philadelphia and Chicago figured it out. They said, but you came as the first with this approach and you'll be treated as the first with this approach. You need to know this. You need to know this. Oakland is there. Oakland is not on this list by accident. We're there because people appreciate that we've engaged in a problem-solving, collaborative effort that is relatively unique around the country. And here's our great opportunity to deal with that. Now, what has been the result? $87.9 million in direct grants where Oakland was the direct grantee or the major partner in the collaboration. $87.9 million. Now, we've taken where we were not the major partner, but a player in the collaboration, another $105 million. Now, that includes the $70 million for the Oakland Airport connector, but it doesn't include the $40 to $60 million of federal recovery money that went from the federal government to Alameda County that will benefit Oakland residents, which I will speak more specifically about in a moment. It doesn't include that $40 to $60 million. And then on top of that, we've been able to leverage another $70.4 million in non-stimulus money based on our collaborative efforts with the stimulus. For example, a few weeks ago, as you recall, we were on the throes of a major crisis dealing with our truck drivers. No one was meeting with them. We met with the truck drivers. And on the 23rd of December, we sent a letter to the appropriate regulatory agencies in Sacramento, and that triggered, and I must compliment them because they worked tirelessly over the holidays, and they found $3 million for this retrofit program for the truck drivers. We then got in a major conference call with myself, all of them in Sacramento and others, and after that phone call, they found $8 additional million. So we were able to leverage $11 million. But earlier, through our stimulus efforts, we got $2 million we put in the pot. The state and others put $20 million in the pot. So here we were leveraging dollars, which was the commitment that I made to the federal government on how Oakland would deal with this stimulus effort. So these are the examples of the dollars, even in this downturn. In my approach to people, they said, what are we going to do? And I said, look, when you walk in a room with somebody that has $400 billion in their pocket and they don't quite know how to spend it, act like you do. Have a plan.